happy. You are too
Yes.
happy for my liking, Somi.
My brother, I have to give myself joy.
You are too happy for
I
my
have to
liking.
be happy. Look,
This happiness is too much for my liking.
allow me to be happy on your behalf. I am happy for
Because
plenty people right now.
why?
Because it's the Monday before Christmas. What kind of language you want to say?
And
It's a good time to be alive.
okay. What next? You don't collect money somewhere, you know they tell me.
I pray.
Collect money.
I pray.
Tell your guy now.
But you see, in
I'm
life.
your favorite colleague.
No, hold on. In life,
Uh-huh.
it's not always about the money. Sometimes all you might have in your
Spend me the
account is
sermon.
500 naira.
Nay, spare me the sermon.
As long as you have the joy of the Lord.
Spare me the sermon. Who roger you? Give your guy a cut
I
now.
legit
I'm not asking for a test.
haven't gotten an alert today.
I'm not asking for
I
a
don't
tithe.
believe I got an alert all through the weekend.
So maybe there's somebody has promised you. Because this is a joy. It's more than just Christmas joy.
You best believe it's the joy of the Lord, though. Otherwise, you will just think for nothing. And me, I will not explain, Taya.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
I covet. If it is joy of the Lord, I covet. Because I'm not. You guys need to
It's
see
the joy of the
Somi
Lord. It's the joy of the
laughing and
season.
happy before we came on air. She was so happy, like, but what's wrong? Is there a problem? Did they give?
That's what comes to mind when you see me laughing. Is there a problem?
No. That's what I meant.
Am I
what
miserable most of the time?
No, come on.
Is that my normal?
Come.
That you have to ask if there's
Now
a
you
problem
did- now
when
you
I'm
talk-
happy?
I need to talk about this one now. I mean, when I saw her, like, is it that something happened in the office? Maybe they declared 14th month in the office. Where maybe my back is misbehaving. As I was wondering, like, this joy is so for a Monday afternoon. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. If it says joy of the Lord, well, I covet. I would like some of that. But yes, welcome, Abuja, capital city, to Monday's edition of Hard Facts. You saw what I was saying. You guys saw what I was saying.
Not every
This is
time. Not every time.
You are
Serious on a Monday.
You are too prim and proper for this thing you're doing. That's the problem.
That's what you think.
All year long,
You don't know.
You are very calculated.
See, if you don't know, you don't know.
Very cool. I do not know. This is not the part of you that you show me on air. We've been working together for how many years now? 15 years. And this is not the part of you. I was exaggerating. This is not the part of you that you get to show me. Now you dump this on my head.
Take it as you see.
I'm taking it. I'm struggling though.
You see me be like, people just see me. You say, Somi, are you okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, you need to sometimes. I mean, allow us. We're boundaries. It's Christmas season. Well, let me cast this lady. Sometimes Somi has a very straight face in the studio, and I'm looking like, is she angry? Are you angry, or you are sad, or you're upset? I do not know. Imagine working with someone and you cannot even tell what their mood is like by the expression, just blank. And I'm like, at some point I had to ask her, like, is everything okay? I hope all is well. Why do you look expressionless?
Do you remember my response?
Yeah, like it's like you're just processing something and just thinking, no.
And I also said I like it when you can't read me. Remember when I
can
said
you
that?
imagine?
Yeah.
What kind of mysterious movement is that? Are you Batman?
He paid
What kind of mysterious thing is that? Why are we doing mystery? But yeah, I mean it's fun working with you. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow us, right? I promise you, if you know how I struggled, I'm just coming from home. I'm just coming from the house. The brain, the body has shut down. It's the brain that is in overdrive right now. I put myself out of the house. Like, yeah, guy, you've got work to do. You're an essential service provider. So we're gonna take
man up.
I'm telling you, man up, literal man up. We're going to take it easy on ourselves. I mean, just catch a break, catch a breath, enjoy the festive season, enjoy the period. Take it, I mean, just step it down a bit. Still look at some of the biggest stories happening in the country, but just take it easy on ourselves.
Yes.
After all, some of you have jackpot and left us in. You've abandoned us in Abuja.
Like,
only God knows where you're listening from now. Otukpo or where?
We were here drinking painkillers, saying, transport fares are high. Everybody that I know.
I went to Yanya.
Traveled.
I was at Yanya yesterday evening. If you see the park, You guys are slice. You guys are wicked.
And actually, no, we're just resilient.
Abuja people are wicked because I thought we had a deal that we are all staying in this town together.
We were just the ones.
But again,
thinking.
Yeah.
In our little minds.
Transport fares, that there's insecurity.
All of us there.
But you know something, Somi? It says to me that Abuja's population has increased drastically. Because have you seen Millennium Park? Oh, boy.
When did you go there?
I passed on Saturday. If you see Millennium Park, hey, I'm like, so that means the population in Abuja has increased drastically.
So much so
astronomically.
That even when people are traveling, in the numbers that some of us may have seen,
the city is still quite busy.
Yeah, so not everybody left you, my brother. Abuja people are not wicked.
The people that left,
you had an agreement with some people.
Why did you leave? I thought we had a plan. we had a town hall meeting on what's happening in Abuja. We had a consensus. We are staying back. But it's good. I mean, whatever works for you, right? Whatever makes you relaxed. Because I put something on my WhatsApp last week. I said 2026 go long. So catch all the breath you can. Rest well. Spend wisely.
And then, funny enough, 2026 will come, and it won't be as long as we
maybe because we are very resilient like that. We just have
shout out to you, Nigerians. Shout out.
We know how to cope.
Yeah,
and sometimes it is to our detriment. Our leaders don't have here we go.
But I'll take this resilience over anything else. Any day, anytime. Yes, I will.
Sometimes I wish that I would know how to just, say, I'm not doing it again. So we can fight back. They know that we know how to cope. That's how they throw everything at us.
All right. And you take it like a man.
We are too manly.
And you move.
We are too manly.
Plus
in this
the
country.
women. Have you seen my yams?
all of us are too manly.
Have you seen my yams? Let's go there, Frank.
Oh yes, it's our Big 5 celebration. Handyman Dage Properties is celebrating 5 years of continuous service delivery and trust with a spin and win promo. Win amazing prizes from a service estate at FO1 Cooper with premium home appliances and consolation prizes. Arcade
We're going to be looking at the implementation of the tax laws, to implement or not to implement. That conversation will take us to 5:55 p.m., where Hard Facts shuts down for the day because the A-team will be taking over football frenzy for the AFCON match. I think it's South Africa and Angola, I think. Is it Angola?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
Even though I don't think I'll be following the competition.
Beef. Anyways, that is going to happen all the way from 6 p.m. till when the A-team says that they are done. So Hard Facts will be shutting down by 5:55 today. So we
45 more like.
Okay. All right. Okay. Whichever. But that's a lineup of conversations. But let's get into the big three. Let's start with the first story here, talking about the Catholic diocese in Niger State, Kontagora to be precise, the one that owns St. Mary's Catholic School, Papiri, coming out to confirm the release of a second batch of children abducted from the school, children and teachers abducted from the school on the 21st of November. They have come out to confirm that indeed about 130 students and staff members were released. Yes, students and staff members released at a location around Nigeria's border with Benin Republic. More specifically, we're talking about, I think, a garrison town of Wawa, Mokwa, and Bida. All of these places are where the children were transported to from the border town where they were found back to Niger State. So yes, the security sources said 130 captives comprising of students and staff were returned back. Wasiu Abiodun, the Niger State police spokesperson, also confirmed the development, saying that the released persons included both students and staff. But coming from the school itself, the Catholic diocese themselves, the diocese did not disclose the number of those released. Government officials said 130 captives had regained their freedom, and the diocese came out to express their profound gratitude to the federal and state governments, as well as security agencies and others whose efforts contributed to the release of the victims. They thank parents, guardians, religious communities, humanitarian organizations, and members of the public for their prayer, support, and solidarity throughout the period of captivity. In their statement, they also assured that further updates will be communicated through appropriate and authorized channels as verification processes are concluded in order to ensure accuracy, transparency, and clarity. So yes, even though the government has come out to say 130, the diocese is being careful to confirm exactly the numbers. And this, not surprising, given that conflicting figures have continued to trail the abduction, while the government officials said all captives had been released. With the release of this 130, the government is saying there's no one else in the custody of the kidnappers. But there's been conflicting figures trailing this story ever since. So I would also very much like to hear from the Catholic diocese, who is trying to be very thorough to do their verification processes and all of that before they come out with a number. But as at when this news first broke, the numbers said to have been abducted were 315. That's both students, pupils, teachers. And then shortly after that, we got reports about 50 people free, which would have meant that 265 people, left in captivity. 100 of them regained their freedom a couple of months ago, which should have meant that there are 165 remaining in captivity. Again, this is quoting some of the sources. Remember, I said conflicting figures, But 315 minus 50 should give 265, of which if you minus 100 first returned, and then the second batch of 130, there should still be 35 people in captivity, but the government has come out to say no other person is in captivity. And I think that's why the Catholic diocese is being a little bit, they're delaying in confirming. But we will definitely be following up with that story just to make sure that no other person is left in captivity, looking for a way to get back home. So yes, while all this is happening, the diocese has pledged continued collaboration with relevant authorities to ensure a secure and conducive learning environment. Also, praying for the swift release of any persons who may still be in captivity. Again, you see with the conflicting reports.
Excuse me. So since the story broke, I mean, on social media platforms, conversational platforms like, for example, X, quite some of persons were saying, "Let's commend the government. Thank God for the safe release. Safe release.
Oh yeah.
Let's not be ungrateful."
What does that mean?
I'm just saying what some people were saying.
Okay.
Let's not be, and I'm sure this might be the body language of some Nigerians. Let's not be ungrateful. The government has done a lot. I mean, because when you compare these side by side past administrations, since Goodluck Jonathan administration, in terms of abductions, the argument many people are making for the government is that this is one of the swiftest response, and that is debatable, but that's not where I want to focus on. I mean, you've highlighted a major point of discrepancy, which, as much as I mean, at the very least, they say no matter how bad the wall clock is, it will tell the time correctly twice a day. So the 2 times to tell the wall clock, it will tell the time correctly. You say, well done, Abi. So as much as I want to say well done to the federal government for facilitating the release, the NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, said no ransom paid. We are not sure because he said it's going to be before Christmas.
He did say that they were going to release them.
Yeah, before Christmas.
Yeah.
Today is 21, right? And then we have 22. They were released on 21st. And that's 4 days to Christmas. So, yeah, well done to the NSA, to the presidency, to the president. However, many security analysts, including myself, journalists alike, we are all concerned the nature of the release. Because you see, when we're talking about this conversation last week, we're talking about the 11 soldiers in Burkina Faso being released. One of the things I kept saying over and over again is that such negotiations don't happen by bros Alpha. We get 11 soldiers for Nasaido. I beg, help us release them, more they go. It doesn't happen like that. That is not how these things happen. They usually give and take. This is what I need, take. So, in this case also, I'm wondering what must have happened, because it is either of two things. It's either we see reports that the Malam Sadiku's faction of Boko Haram, who have claimed responsibility for this, is either we have reports in the news that they've been cornered and they have been apprehended and release of the hostages have been secured. It's either that or something else happened. And if it is the other thing that my guts, my instincts are telling me is what it is, which is ransom payments, to be very frank, there's nothing we're doing other than, first and foremost, St. Mary Catholic School is not a public school, it's a private school. These abduction shootings have happened in the first place because this is happening in somewhere around in Niger State, far from Borno, far from Zamfara.
You're insinuating that Boko Haram typically does not operate within.
I'm saying that they are shifting because of the kinetic and non-kinetic force alike happening in far northeast, northwest. They are coming down middle belts. Of course, they've been active for a while in middle belts, but now we are seeing them more around Kwara, Niger. Kwara State borders down to the south, borders Oyo State. Oyo, that's Ogbomoso, down into Shaki and the rest of it. So we are seeing this thing. We have another form of it. We don't even know if it's the same group of persons disguising in different manners, acting in the southeast, in the south. My point exactly is that the security thing has been far too politicized, and the government, they are allowing people who should have been beneficiary of dividends of democracy, such as security, to be collateral damage. That is number one. Number two, what is the manner, what facilitated the release? Did the government beg these people, please, I beg? Or it was actually a case of ransom payment? I mean, like I'm saying, we'll never know, but as a journalist, you're looking at this, all these lines, and you're just asking questions. And this is how investigative journalism starts from, because it just starts by just, being curious as to what really happened. And of course, the one that you pointed out, which is very obvious to the eye, something is wrong with the numbers. And I have a problem with federal government at different points in time. No, there is no pressure. I don't get it, Somi. When it comes to PR, I'm not even a PR expert because that's another profession entirely. There are people who are experts in PR management. But at the very least, the presidency is at the highest level of engagement, civil and governmental. And I believe that we should be having experts in communication of what the government is up to. I don't know why the government puts itself in this tight corner without any pressure whatsoever. There was no pressure.
What corner do you think they put themselves in this particular case?
Is it that the presidency isn't aware that minus 50 that initially escaped, there was 265, according to the figures. 265. 100 before was released. Now that's remaining 165. Now we have 130. Do the math, for heaven's sake. 30 is left. And then when the government says all have
the
been, remaining captives have been released. So I am so the remaining 30
or 35.
Or 35 rather. So how far? And you see, the point why I said that unprovoked corner themselves in PR damage is it was needless. There are other choices of words. You don't at that level, you don't throw words carelessly. Because now the school, they have also been forced into a corner whereby you can't blatantly come and counter the federal government and say no, 35 are still remaining. You can't do that. Now they are forced to, if you look at the language, because these are the things that happens when you talk about image making, perception building, PR. That the choice of words are not a mistake. They are intentionally curated. So if you look at the Catholic, they are thanking the government, and they are also saying they are going to verify. They use the word verification.
Yep.
So I understand what's happening there. I understand it because the math is not adding up. And I wonder, why does the government do this to itself every now and then? Oh, we are not, if you released 130 out of 165 and you gave us a deadline of before Christmas, you have done well. It is still bad, but in the light of events, it is still something. I don't think Nigerians would. The only thing is that there's going to be encouragement. Okay, the remaining 35, let's see how we can get them out. Not that you now come and this creates a whole new problem. If we're a country that asks questions the way we should be asking questions, someday some people should have been sacked by now. And it's a problem. Unprovoked. Because it is needless. Is it that they do not know that, or is the federal government's figure, is it different from that of the school and the one we have in the news circulating? What exactly is going on? I think these are the areas that we need enlightenment. Maybe they know something else that we do not know. They should come and enlighten us.
So as we wrap up the story, a few things are clear.
Yeah.
Are we glad that we have more than half, way more than half the number that initially was abducted back? Yes. Should you be asking questions as to the terms of their regaining their freedom? Definitely. I don't think it's wrong to do that because, again, if you trail, I can imagine when you talked about people saying, let's not be ungrateful. I had to ask in what context, because some people will say, oh, yeah, the children are back, that's all that matters, and so turn a blind eye to everything else. It's important, the kind of precedence that this government is setting. I mean, it's not precedence at this point anyway. We've seen this as the MO in terms of, releases that have been, people that have regained their freedom by way of government intervention. And they use different languages. Sometimes it's government intervention and all of it in different instances. And so it's not wrong to ask, because some of the dangers associated with the methods by which these people are regaining their freedom is definitely one that Nigerians should not turn a blind eye to. I was a bit worried, not a bit, I was very worried when I saw that this was a Boko Haram attack. Yeah. Because one would typically think, oh, it's bandits. We've had even Dr. Majid come on the show and say, oh, bandits just want money. The Boko Haram and the ISWAPs are the more ideological ones. And yes, you might be able to trace the ideology behind shutting down the operations of a school by kidnapping that many children to a Boko Haram. They've done it before, but it hasn't been more of their thing in more recent times. It's more of a banditry thing. So when you look at, just like you said, where it happened, the implications of that, and the approach taken by the government to regain their freedom, we can say thank you to the federal government while saying these approaches should be looked into a little more deeply. You would expect an all-out affront against a Boko Haram that was in charge of this, but we've not seen that, especially when it has to do with abductions in the past. I don't know if it's too much asking that we should see that now, but it does present a cause for worry. If you remember, one of the officials speaking on this arrest, this kidnapping one time, came out and said that Nigerians should not worry, that the children are fine. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Came out to say that they are fine. So which also implies that there is knowledge of where they are, who they are with, and how they eventually dealt with. It should be something that Nigerians should be concerned about. So let's see. Like I said, we have to continue to follow up on this story. The door has not closed, not entirely, because, like I said, the diocese ended their statement by praying for the swift release of any persons who may still be in captivity.
Well, that's the diocese now.
Yes, that's how they ended their statement. So there's definitely something amiss there, and so Nigerians should not just move on from this. Also, looking out for all the other abductions that have happened in the course of October all the way till now, to say what's happening with those people. Let's not forget them as well. I know the Niger case was really loud because of the number of children and people abducted, but there's so many others that have been abducted in the course of time, and we should follow through as well.
Factions of the Boko Haram of ISWAP, when they run down on cash, they just see Nigeria as, some of them may not even be Nigerians, from neighboring countries, but because I don't know how we got here, I don't know what happened, I don't know what needs to give for this to change, where it is established there's interaction between these guys and the federal government on different levels, on personal basis, on governmental basis. It's established already. So now, after getting the children back, let's say all of them have been gotten back, and then there is no consequence, absolutely no consequence for the action. So whatever it is they demanded, let's say you needed to be a monkey to roll with the monkey, so you give them money to get the children back, and you've gotten children back. Afterwards, absolutely no consequence whatsoever.
It's kinetic.
Everything
is non-kinetic, sir. Haven't you heard? It's non-kinetic. It stays non-kinetic prior to abduction, during abduction, post-abduction. That is the approach.
And that is why many other groups get emboldened. It's one of the reasons why we are where we are today. Different groups, we don't even have proper profiling. We don't even know who is who. All the kidnappings, all the killings is just bandit. Bandit is a very ambiguous word.
Well, this Niger case has definitely,
yes, it has a face.
It has demolished that notion that you typically see more with bandits. I honestly, all this while, had thought that it was a bandit operation, but clearly not.
They assumed responsibility for this one. But I'm only saying that other ones that there was nobody that came and say, "Oh, we are the ones that did it." We just tagged it bandit. It could as well. It could have been Boko Haram all along. It could have been ISWAP all along. But so I'm just looking. How do we have governments in and out that romance insecurity like this? It is appalling to me. Deeply, deeply sad. Deeply sad. After these things are over, no consequence. Everything just dies down, fume into thin air, and that is the end of it until the next attack. So when they are broke, they just know, let's just attack one school, pack all the children. That's it. So what?
All right, then. We'll open up the phone lines in a little bit. Let's just quickly run through the other stories we have here. Trump has recalled U.S. ambassadors from Nigeria as well as 29 other countries. Yes, the United States president recalled nearly 30 career diplomats from ambassadorial and other senior embassy postings. Nigeria, of course, being one of them. And according to the news, Africa being the most hit. I think Africa has, of the 29, Africa has 15 of the ambassadors recalled, U.S. ambassadors in those countries recalled back. Nigeria, like I said, is on the list. Burundi, Cameroon, Cape Verde, Gabon, Cote d'Ivoire, Madagascar, Mauritius, Niger, Rwanda, Senegal, Somalia, Algeria, Egypt, and Uganda. And the ambassador recalls were first reported by Politico, that's a press outfit, and then ever since has sparked concern among some U.S. lawmakers and the union representing African diplomats. All the affected diplomats were appointed during the administration of former President Joe Biden, but survived an earlier purge in the first months after Trump's return. And, that purge apparently had largely targeted political appointees. And so they survived it, and it seemed like all was all well and good until Wednesday, when they began receiving notices from Washington informing them of their imminent departures. This is according to Associated Press. And responding to this, some officials said ambassadors serve at the pleasure of the president, although they typically remain in office for between 3 and 4 years. And so for as long as it's at the pleasure of the president, the president has the right to take a decision concerning whether they should remain in office or not. Well, speaking of remaining in office, apparently the officials said those affected are not being dismissed from foreign service and may return to Washington for other assignments if they chose. They're just being recalled from their ambassadorial stations. As at the time of this report, the State Department had not commented on the exact number of ambassadors recalled, but defended the decision. They called it a standard process in any administration, and they also said it's the president's right. And this also is advancing the America First agenda. Now, other countries affected outside of the 15 from Africa are Fiji, Laos, the Marshall Islands, Papua New Guinea, and the Philippines, as well as Vietnam. That's in Asia Pacific. In Europe, it's just four of them. Armenia, Macedonia, Montenegro, and Slovakia. And in South Asia, Nepal and Sri Lanka. While in the Western Hemisphere, you have Guatemala and Suriname also impacted. Interestingly, just Sunday, that was yesterday, apparently the U.S. mission in Nigeria and the ambassador to that mission, Richard Mills, had addressed the news conference speaking to the visa restrictions matter. When we spoke on Friday, when we talked about the restrictions from the proclamation that we talked about, it didn't affect green card holders as of Friday when we were speaking. But between Friday and Sunday, there were restrictions that affected green card holders as well. Yeah. Some people reported that, having gone through the process to attain their green cards and everything, they got through the ceremony and then they were turned back.
Yeah. It's interesting. When we had this conversation, like you said, the Richard Mills, right? He was having, I think this was on the 21st yesterday, or 20th. I think he had there was a press brief here in Abuja stating that.
That was yesterday, I believe.
It was yesterday.
Sunday.
Okay, Sunday. All right. So there was a press brief with the newsmen where he clarified that the restrictions is not about targeting Nigerians, it's a security measure, what have you. Less than 24 hours after the news, when I saw the news breaking this afternoon, I just laughed. I laughed to myself and I said, here we go. I think that it's a huge statement. It confirms what we already know, what we already think. It also shows the fact that more than half of the recalled ambassadors, back to the U.S. Are from Africa, including Nigeria. I mean, it shows what Trump's stance, which we already know. I don't even think there's anything, entirely new. I think what stands out for me is the fact that the non-career ambassadors that were also recalled, I see that as an opportunity for Trump to fill that spot perhaps with loyalists who would carry out his bidding. Should there be another redeployment? Most likely there will be. But it just, for me, I'm just looking at this as, yet again, we get a knock from the U.S. This is like the opting time this year alone that the United States, as a nation, has given Nigeria the, 5 fingers, more like, over and over again. I don't think it's anything new. For me, I think Nigerians now who are looking to travel to the US, you might want to redirect. The US has made its stance emphatically clear. Right now, we are a red zone for you. It's as simple as that. Even people who are in the US right now, Nigerians, are looking to come back. Or maybe they're moving to, north, Canada and the rest. So I don't think there's anything new here. Trump, like when we're talking on Friday with the big one, he said something that resonates. He said, right, Trump is strictly pro-America. Anything that will make America better. And you cannot blame the man. That's what any single country would do. And, I remember a caller called and said, let us give... okay, we're talking about American troops invasion to Nigeria. And I asked him that what would the U.S. benefit? He said, let us give U.S. whatever it is they want, the rare earth minerals and the rest of it. I don't know if the government is going to want to do that. But I remember again on Friday when we're talking around our 90 minutes around the world, one of the things that we established as a fact is that this should ordinarily push any well-thinking country. Let us put our acts together. We cannot keep being the butt of every joke from the US. Let's put our act together. I mean, I know it's not just Nigeria that is targeted, but hey, I'm not an Egyptian. Neither am I from other African countries. So Nigeria concerns me first. And as a Nigerian, I'm looking at it. This is a call to us to put our acts together. We cannot keep being the butt of every joke. We cannot keep being, at the expense of anything that the US does. I mean, at some point, we should stop going there to go and beg for money.
Well, I have to say, though, just so that we are not taking this a little too personally, concerning the recall of the ambassador, you know that we haven't had an ambassador there in the U.S. Like, we don't have an ambassador of Nigeria to the U.S. ever since the Tinubu
so you think it's payback?
I don't know. I'm just saying, just so that we're not taking it a little too personally and we're saying, oh, this is another one of those knocks from the U.S. What we've had there for the past, 2 years is a charge d'affaires. So even though there is a recall of ambassadors, perhaps whoever it is that he sends, or if he chooses to retain, for example, a Richard Mills, perhaps he might take on the role of charge d'affaires. It's just not an ambassador, So basically what it is there's none there, there's none here. What are the deeper implications of that? Perhaps it's something that can have someone come and share with us.
What
are the deeper implications of having a vacuum on
one
both sides?
implication, I'm not going to test how deep it will go, but one implication definitely is going to make diplomatic conversation a lot difficult. Because when nations contact each other, they usually do that through the commission representing the country in the other one. So, but on this thing that you said, if you ask me, Somi, I stand to be contradicted, maybe even corrected, and any of our callers who thinks otherwise can share. But I have reasons to believe that when it comes to the diplomatic relationship between Nigeria and US, right? The US government and their presence in Nigeria, what they stand to benefit and gain is more than what we benefit from them. I stand to be contradicted. If you think otherwise, you can let me know. But I sincerely believe that the U.S. government, they have more to benefit. They in fact, let me put it this way. They've benefited more. They've consumed more. They've had more from being in Nigeria than we can benefit from them over there in the U.S. Because really, look at it. Apart from all of the conversations that go on, allowing students to travel, what else? I mean, of course, business is done at a governmental level. They invest in some specific industries and sectors and all of that. But do you know what they benefit here?
Tell us, too.
No, let's not go there.
No, tell us.
Tell
us one or two things.
Standing by.
One or two things.
It's not even the things that are accounted for. For example, now, China. All the romance that happened with China under former president's administration, do you know how many mines Chinese government, not say government, but Chinese individuals own. How many mines in Nigeria? I'm not saying that they work from, they own, where they blast stuff here in Nigeria. And they employ our people with cheap labor, maltreat them. Can we go to China and do that with Chinese people?
I know. I mean, I just wanted you to spell it out.
No.
Being
So that when
Spectre.
DSS comes, me they'll carry.
No, why?
I'm just
because
joking.
of what?
I'm just
what did you
joking.
say that was
I'm
requiring
just
DSS presence?
joking.
Anyway, we need to go and take the news. When we come back, we'll open up the phone lines. I have one more story, but we will definitely open up the phone lines as soon as we get back. Keep it locked here. We'll be with you soon.